Good evening. I'm Nova Blake, and this is your complete political briefing for Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. Tonight, the United States drops 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs on the Iranian city of Isfahan as gas prices top $4 a gallon for the first time in 4 years. Let's get into it. Starting with the top stories from across the American political landscape. The United States dropped 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs on the Iranian city of Isfahan on Monday, targeting a large ammunition depot. President Trump shared video of the massive explosions on social media as the war with Iran crosses its 31st day with no end in sight. The conflict has now claimed more than 3,000 lives and caused a historic disruption to the global oil supply. The average price of gasoline in the United States crossed $4 a gallon today for the first time since 2022. The milestone, confirmed by the American Automobile Association, is a direct result of Iran's ongoing blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 20% of the world's oil normally flows. West Texas Intermediate crude oil is now trading at approximately $102 a barrel, up from $59 at the start of the year. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments today in Trump versus Barbara, one of the most consequential legal cases in a generation. The court is weighing whether the president's executive order ending birthright citizenship violates the 14th Amendment, which has guaranteed citizenship to virtually everyone born on American soil since 1868. Every lower court that has ruled on the case so far has blocked the order, and a final decision is expected by late June. Iran struck a fully loaded Kuwaiti oil tanker in waters off the city of Dubai today, sparking a fire that was later extinguished. The Dubai media office confirmed no oil spill occurred and no crew members were injured, but 4 people were wounded on shore by debris from an intercepted Iranian drone. The strike pushed oil prices further upward and illustrated the reach of Iran's attacks beyond the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump turned his frustration on America's European allies today, posting on social media that nations struggling to get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz should go get your own oil. He singled out the United Kingdom by name, warning that the United States would not be there to help allies who refused to join the war effort. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth echoed the message at a Pentagon briefing, saying the Royal Navy should be prepared to defend the vital waterway. The International Monetary Fund issued a stark economic warning today, saying the war in the Middle East is driving higher prices and slower growth around the world. The organization wrote in a published blog post that all roads lead to higher prices and slower growth, regardless of how the conflict unfolds. The warning comes as global energy markets remain severely disrupted, with the world losing as many as 20 million barrels of oil per day from Middle Eastern producers. The partial shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security continues with no resolution in sight, and both chambers of Congress remain on a 2-week Easter recess. The Senate met for just 31 seconds on Monday before adjourning, as Democrats blocked any attempt at unanimous consent to advance Republican funding proposals. Internal reporting indicates that some administration officials privately believe the shutdown could extend into the summer. Most Transportation Security Administration workers received at least a partial paycheck this week after President Trump ordered their back pay through executive action. One TSA officer at a Houston airport confirmed receiving a deposit Monday morning, describing it as bringing some sense of normalcy back. However, with Congress on recess and no long-term funding deal in place, there is no guarantee that workers will receive a second paycheck in 2 weeks. Senate Democratic candidates running for office this November are growing increasingly vocal in their dissatisfaction with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Multiple candidates across the country, including some from competitive states, have called for new leadership, with the question of whether a Senate candidate supports Schumer now emerging as a political litmus test heading into the midterm elections. Schumer has said his focus remains on winning back the Senate majority in November. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill Monday renaming Palm Beach International Airport to the President Donald J. Trump International Airport. The change will take effect July 1st, pending approval by the Federal Aviation Administration, which Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said is already working on the new airport code. Florida Democrats have estimated the renaming will cost taxpayers up to $5 million. Now turning to Washington and the latest actions from the current administration. Here are 10 significant developments from the administration this week. The administration confirmed the use of 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs in a strike on an ammunition depot in Isfahan, Iran on Monday, a significant escalation of the military campaign known as Operation Epic Fury. The strike targeted a facility believed to store missiles, rockets, and other explosive munitions. According to a Wall Street Journal report citing an unnamed United States official, a high volume of penetrator munitions was used in the operation. The Trump administration's Department of Labor released a proposed rule Monday that would allow workers to invest their 401k retirement accounts in alternative assets, including private equity and cryptocurrencies. The rule would open a 60-day public comment period before any final decision. Critics from financial advocacy organizations have warned the change could expose tens of millions of retirement savers to significant financial risk. The White House signaled Monday that fully reopening the Strait of Hormuz is not one of the administration's core military objectives in the Iran conflict. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that the strait's reopening is something the administration is working toward, but clarified it is not among the operation's essential goals. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reinforced the message at a separate Pentagon briefing, saying the United States military aims to remain unpredictable in the conflict. American troops continue to arrive in the Middle East as speculation mounts over a potential ground operation in Iran. The USS Tripoli, believed to be carrying United States Marines, is currently positioned in the Indian Ocean. United States Central Command has confirmed it struck more than 11,000 targets in Iran since the beginning of the conflict on February 28th. The executive order signed by President Trump on March 26 targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion practices at federal contractors is now in its 30-day implementation window. Federal agencies are required by April 25th to begin inserting anti-DEI clauses into all new government contracts and subcontracts. Contractors found in violation face contract cancellation, suspension, or debarment from future federal work. The Trump administration has activated the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help relieve pressure on domestic gas prices caused by the Iran war. The release comes as Brent crude hovers around $112 a barrel, a level that has directly contributed to average gas prices exceeding $4 nationally. The administration has framed the move as emergency relief for American consumers facing energy costs not seen since 2022. The task force to eliminate fraud in federal benefit programs, established by executive order earlier this month, is now operational, with Vice President J.D. Vance serving as its chair. The task force is coordinating a national strategy to combat fraud, waste, and abuse across housing, food assistance, medical care, and cash assistance programs administered with state and local partners. The Federal Trade Commission chairman is serving as vice chair of the body. The Department of Labor's proposed rule opening 401k accounts to private equity and cryptocurrency follows an executive order President Trump signed last summer directing the agency to ease barriers to alternative investments in retirement plans. The Labor Department will open a 60-day public comment period before deciding whether to finalize the rule. The proposal represents a significant shift in federal retirement investment policy that has been in place for decades. The Justice Department has indicated it will share voter registration data collected from states with the Department of Homeland Security to run through a citizenship verification tool. The move, confirmed in reporting this week, is part of a broader administration effort to expand federal oversight of state election systems ahead of the November 2026 midterm elections. Civil liberties groups have challenged the initiative, warning it could be used to intimidate eligible voters. The Treasury Department announced last week that President Trump's signature will appear on United States paper currency, marking the first time a sitting president's signature will be placed on American dollar bills. Separately, a federal commission of presidential appointees approved a design featuring the president's image on a 24-karat commemorative gold coin for the nation's 250th anniversary. The announcements are part of a broader pattern of the administration associating the president's name and image with federal institutions and infrastructure. That's your full briefing for Tuesday, March 31st, 2026. I'm Nova Blake. Stay informed. Stay ahead. We'll see you next time.